8 red flags. She has a high body count. The brutal truth: you can't force attraction. But you can create moments that make her think about you when you're not there. If that sentence makes you uncomfortable, there's a good chance you're exactly where you need to be to hear it. Because a lot of men out there are trapped in the same feeling. You give it everything you've got, yet she stays distant. You care more, but she pulls further away. You're standing right in front of her, but in her mind, you barely exist. Have you ever felt that? That moment when she talks about her past, casually, too casually, as if everything was normal. As if the old relationships, the old men, the old stories, left no mark at all. And you start asking yourself, not out loud, but instinctively, why do I feel unsafe? This is not a video to judge women. This is not a video to label anyone as good or bad. This is a video about a brutal truth men often avoid. The past leaves traces, not morally but psychologically, in how someone feels, bonds, and values connection. Most men don't lose because they lack value. They lose because they don't understand the game they're stepping into. They believe that being good enough, patient enough, understanding enough will earn them a place. But the truth is this: attraction doesn't come from how hard you try. It comes from whether you create contrast. When a woman is used to too many options, her brain learns not to attach deeply. When things come to easily, emotions don't need to be invested. When there's no investment, there's no appreciation. And when there's no appreciation, you become temporary. Psychology calls this the erosion of scarcity and presence. The harder you try to prove you're different, the more you resemble the men before you. The more available you are, the less memorable you become. And then you fall into the familiar loop. You give more to keep her, while she gives less because she's learned she never has to hold on. In this video, I'm going to talk about 8 red flags that signal she has a highly complicated emotional and sexual past, and why that directly affects how she treats you today. It's not to make you fear women, but to help you choose with clarity. You can't force attraction, but you can create moments that make her think about you when you're not there. If you feel a heaviness in your chest right now, that's normal. Truth is rarely easy to swallow. But here's what you must understand. The issue isn't the number. It's the psychological aftermath the number leaves behind. When someone is used to replacing, they struggle to value. When emotions have been switched on and off too many times, deep attachment becomes a luxury. And when attachment disappears, you're always the one trying harder to keep it. Let's summarize the core lessons. First, the past doesn't define someone as worth, but it shapes how they love and respect in the present. Second, someone who can't hold boundaries with themselves won't hold them with you. Third, when intimacy becomes too easy, presence loses weight. Fourth, the more a man fears loss, the easier he is placed beneath. And fifth, a man with real choice isn't the one women chase the one strong enough to walk away from what drains him. You don't need to judge. You don't need to save anyone. You only need to be honest with yourself. If you constantly feel anxious, if you're always guessing, if you're always carrying the emotional rhythm, it's not love, it's negotiation, and you're negotiating from weakness. Attraction doesn't come from how much you endure. It comes from how much value you build, so endurance is no longer required. Discipline, purpose, and a life with gravity creates scarcity. The willingness to leave creates contrast. And when you no longer need to prove yourself, your presence finally carries weight. If you've ever been pulled into a relationship that made you doubt yourself, understand this wasn't failure, it was a lesson. A grown man doesn't try to fix people. He chooses environments, relationships, and partners worthy of his energy. If this content helped sharpen your clarity, subscribe to continue upgrading your masculine mindset. And leave a comment with the word value if you're ready to choose respect over familiarity. Before we get into the specific signs, you need to face a feeling many men experience but rarely name. You're in the relationship, but it feels like you're always chasing. You care more, you invest more emotionally, you try to hold the rhythm, and she drifts. Hot one moment, cold the next. Present, then distant like you barely know her, and you start doubting yourself. Maybe I'm not good enough. The truth is, many men fail not because they lack value, but because they commit to women who are already used to not attaching. When someone has been through too many intimate connections, the brain learns something dangerous. Emotions can be switched on and off. Bonds can be replaced. People can be swapped without pain. The first red flag is how casually she talks about her past. Not honesty and indifference. Old stories told like headlines. No emotion, no boundaries, no respect for what was once intimate. This shows her brain disconnected emotion from closeness a long time ago. The second red flag is how quickly she becomes intimate. It's not because you're special, but because intimacy no longer needs to be built. When everything happens fast, there's no contrast. You're just the next chapter in a familiar cycle. The third red flag is her extreme intolerance for boredom. She needs constant stimulation. Conversations must peak. Emotions must be intense. Otherwise, she loses interest. This signals a nervous system conditioned to high intensity, incapable of sustaining long-term bonding. The fourth red flag is her avoidance of commitment conversations. Not because she's not ready, but because commitment subconsciously means losing options. And to someone addicted to options, losing them feels like a threat. The fifth red flag is that she always has backups. You feel it. Old messages never deleted. Names that keep resurfacing. Connections with unclear boundaries. This isn't accidental, it reflects a scarcity-free mindset. The sixth red flag is her strong reaction when you set boundaries. When you don't reply instantly, when you're busy, when your life doesn't revolve around her. People used to absolute priorities see boundaries as rejection, not respect. The seventh red flag is when she says, "All my exes were terrible." No accountability. No self-reflection. This shows she hasn't learned from the past and is likely to repeat it. The eighth and most dangerous red flag is her inability to form deep bonds. You feel the emptiness. She's there, but not really there. Emotions come fast, leave fast. You're always the one holding on. Here's the psychology behind it all. The brain learns through repetition. When intimacy is repeated too often with different people, it loses its meaning. Presence stops leaving an imprint. Scarcity disappears. Contrast fades. And without those three, respect cannot form. This is not a sentence passed on anyone. It's a warning for men. You cannot change your past, but you can decide your position in the present. The solution is not control. It's not interrogation. It's not jealousy. The solution starts with you. Step 1. Don't invest too fast. Let time filter. Those unfamiliar with attachment reveal themselves once the novelty fades. Step 2. Build a life big enough that you're not dragged by her emotional fluctuations. Purpose creates natural contrast. Step 3. Set clear boundaries and keep them. No long explanations. No justifications. Boundaries only work when you're willing to walk away. Step 4. Choose someone who chooses you. It's not someone who needs you to fill a void. A woman who truly values you invests. She doesn't test you or keep you suspended.